What's going on, you guys? Frost here, and I'm back with another guide. This time I'll be telling you guys how I play Ekko jungle. If you find this guide helpful in any way, please do remember to click that like button, as this will help me get this guide out there to more people. Also, if anything changes that will affect this guide, there will be an update in the description. The following subjects were mentioned in this guide: champion description, abilities, leveling order, runes, masteries, the item build, and a jungle strategy. If you want to go to specific subjects, you can click on it right now. Champion description. Ekko is a very strong mage in the jungle with great utility. This makes it easy to gank with Ekko from a fairly early stage in the game, and its ganks are really good because you can just come from any flank position, throw out your Q for a slow and force a flash. Ekko also scales very well into the mid to late game. The reason for this is the damage and utility his ult offers in combination with Zhonya's. Also, if you go for a tank Ekko build, you will be pretty much impossible to kill because of the way the healing on your ult works. If you like a very mobile champion with good scaling into the late game, Ekko is definitely the champion for you. Ekko's abilities: his passive, Z Drive Resonance. Any type of damage Ekko does will apply a stack of resonance on the enemy. This stack lasts up to 4 seconds. At 3 stacks, the target takes bonus magic damage and is slowed by a solid amount. This passive will apply spell effects such as Rylai's. If you proc your passive against champions, Ekko will also gain bonus movement speed equal to the amount of the slow you put on the enemies. This skill does a lot of damage and has a good AP scaling, so really focus on getting those passive stacks on the target. His first ability, Time Winder. Ekko throws a device in a target direction, dealing magic damage to all enemies along its path. At its maximum range, or if it hits an enemy champion, the device slows to stop and expands. After a short delay, the device contracts and rushes back to Ekko, dealing additional magic damage to all enemies along its path. This skill is your main source of damage when clearing your jungle camps. Make sure you position yourself correctly so you can hit everything with both the hits, as the hit going backwards does more damage. His second ability, Parallel Convergence. Passively, this skill gives Ekko's basic attacks a lot of bonus magic damage based on the target's missing health when the target is under 30% of their maximum health. This is capped to 150 against minions and monsters. When using this ability, Ekko throws a device to a target location that will expand into a sphere after a 3-second delay. When it expands, it will slow enemies by 40%, or it will stun them for 2.25 seconds when Ekko enters the sphere, and this will grant him a shield. This skill is mainly used for ganking. If you can predict your opponent or just surprise them by throwing this ability on him and then using your E to dash into it, you can pretty much get free kills all around. Or you will at least force some summoners. But this skill is also used for farming your jungle without losing a lot of health, because it stuns the jungle camps as well, allowing you to deal free damage. And when you have your jungle item completed, not take damage at all. His third ability, Phase Dive. Ekko dashes towards the target location. His next basic attack within a few seconds will gain 300 bonus attack range and causes Ekko to blink on his target, dealing bonus magic damage. Phase Dive's bonus damage will apply spell effects. This skill is something you can use in combination with your W for pretty much a secured gank, because you can just use the first part of it to get over the wall, and the second part to blink into your W range when it detonates. Also, the full damage is applied to turrets, so once you have some AP, you will destroy structures really quickly, especially in combination with Lichbane. His fourth ability, Chrono Break. Ekko is followed by a hologram of himself that tracks where he was 4 seconds ago. The hologram will be inactive when the spell is on cooldown. Upon activating the skill, it will blink you to where you were 4 seconds ago after a short delay, dealing magic damage to all surrounding enemies and healing Ekko. This is a huge amount of damage and a very large heal, since the skill has an insane AP scaling. This skill in combination with your W is the reason I take Zhonya's as a core item, because you can pretty much bait anyone into a stun from your W into the insane amount of AoE ult damage. You can also use the skill to steal Baron and Dragon fairly easily, because you can just E over the wall, blink on the target, smite, and get out for a smite burst that is pretty much impossible to beat. And for a final neat trick with this, you can recall in front of someone, and then right as you recall and they missed it by a hair, you can reactivate your ultimate after getting a heal from your home guards. Leveling these abilities. I start with my Q on level 1. This is your main source of damage and offers you the fastest initial camp clear. Then on level 2 I get my W, because this offers you a stun in your jungle camps and will increase your auto attack damage when the target is below 30% health. Then on level 3 I get a second point into my Q, because taking your E doesn't do much clear speed wise. And I get my E on level 4. You can of course take your E on level 3, but you should only do this when you're looking for a gank, because otherwise it's just not worth it. As far as maxing goes, I'll max my Q first, since this is your main source of damage. Then I'll max my E second for a lower cooldown on it and a decent increase in damage. And I'll max my W last, because this skill doesn't really improve much after the initial point. And of course you take your R whenever possible. The runes, I go for 9 magic pen marks, 9 flat armor seals, 9 flat AP glyphs and 3 flat AP quints. I'll take the 9 magic pen marks because Ekko has so many AP scalings that it is a great damage increase. I take the 9 flat armor seals to survive your early jungle better, and the 9 flat AP glyphs and the 3 flat AP quints are for the early clear as well. The Masteries, I go for 0, 12, 18 on Ekko. In the Cunning Tree I take the increased damage to minions and monsters to help you clear, into the increased buff duration because having blue buff longer really helps you out. Then I simply take the increased damage to lower health targets and some potential extra sustain. Then for the Resolve Tree, I take the extra sustain, more movement speed to help you roam the map faster, into increased health because you are quite squishy early on. After that you take the slow reduction and end off in Strength of the Ages. I get Strength of the Ages because it gives you a lot of extra health, and that is mainly what you need on Ekko. The item build. I have 2 different item builds for Ekko. The first one is a damage build and the second one is a tank build. Personally, I use the first build mainly because I find this a more fun way to play Ekko, but they both work really well. So, starting off with the first build, you want to get yourself a Hunter's Talisman and 3 health potions. I go for the 3 health potions because you have quite some trouble clearing in the first few levels, so you will lose more health. After your initial clear, you want to go back and buy the Stalker's upgrade to your jungle item, along with a refillable potion. At this stage, you want to finish your jungle item into the AP enchant as fast as possible. After completing your jungle item, you want to get yourself a pair of CDR boots. The reason I get these boots in this build over anything else is because they will reduce your flash cooldown as well as just reduce your cooldowns in general, and this helps you quite a lot. You can also decide to go for Sorks if you want to do some more damage. At this stage you want to get a bit more tanky, but in order to still deal a good amount of damage, this item will come in the form of Rylai's. Not only will this item make you more durable, but it will also give you that slow on your abilities, meaning that it will be easier to land both your Qs and stick to people. After Rylai's I usually get a Zonias. The reason I get this item is because it will open up a lot of options in your kit. It allows you to bait people into your W and R whilst risking less. The final items I get in this build are Deathcap and Void Staff. Which order you get these in is based on how much magic resist the enemy has built when you get to this point. If they have quite a lot of MR, then build a Void Staff. If they don't, then you get a Death Cap. And to fully finish this build off, you want to sell your boots for a Lich Bane. By doing it this way, you will not lose too much movement speed and gain a solid amount of extra damage. Now for the tanky build. Same start, but instead of Runic Echoes, you get a Cinderhulk enchant. However, you can still decide if you want to go for Runic Echoes with this build anyway. Then for the boots, I usually get Ninja Tabis if I'm going for any type of tank build, because these will reduce the most damage. After your boots you want to get a Rylai's. By getting this item you will still have some damage, but mainly the slowing effect. This will help you peel later on. After Rylai's you want to build yourself a Deadman's Plate. I get this item for the armor it offers, but mainly the extra movement speed. After this I will usually go for a Sterix to make sure I cannot get bursted down at all. And to finish off the build you want to get yourself either a Banshees or a Thornmail, depending on if they have more AP or AD damage. The jungle strategy. In the background right now you can see the jungle clears for both sides of the map. Whilst this is playing I want to talk to you guys a little bit about ganking, clearing your jungle and team fighting. Now first of all, clearing your jungle. The first clear with Ekko will generally get you very low in health, but it should be very doable. Also, as you will notice later on in the clears, I do something different on my topside clear. I generally do this on Ekko because it will give you a very strong early gank on top lane, plus a longer red buff duration to gank with. Also, I take Machete over Talisman on the top side clear because you have a blue buff on that side, so you don't need the mana sustain, and getting a Machete is faster clear wise because you auto attack so much. When it comes to ganking, you really need to predict how your enemy will run away, or if you are standing close enough to them to simply W on top of them and then wait a little bit with your E for a quick and easy stun. When it comes to team fighting, it really depends on what build you're using. If you play the rule of full tank Ekko, it's better to stay back a bit and peel. But if you're playing a more damaging Ekko, then you just want to kill the enemy carries. Zonias will really help you in this, because you can go in with E, then Q into an auto attack to proc your passive, and then quickly W on top of yourself and then Zonias. By doing this, it will give your W time to get ready for the stun if they stand on top of you. And also, your ult will start closing in on you, so you can ult targets you just stunned with this trick for massive damage. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you've enjoyed it or learned anything from it, please do remember to click that like button right below this video, as this helps me get this video out there. If you would like to see more guides like this, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!